she or if I ever get any grandchildren, then I can definitely tell them I did what I could do. I tried to do something. I tried to spread the message. I did all of that with my own will and strength. I do not have any financial support. I do not have any special knowledge. I don't have any support from anyone really, but the people who are in my group who encourage me by sending me personal messages or me seeing other people doing the same thing. So I have achieved a lot of things really, actually. I've been on TV a couple of times, on the radio, in newspapers and magazines. So all of that is just because I talk. I do things and I talk about it. And that's, I think that is really, that's great. I mean, that's all you have to do. There is nothing else you need. You need your voice, you need your power, your strength, your will, and you can reach so much. It's unbelievable.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the NuOceans podcast. I am Flavio, and I will be your host today. Our next guest is from Germany. Her journey started back in early February 16 with a cigarette box she found on the side of the road that was bothering her for a few days, so she decided to pick it up and throw it away. And one thing leading to the next, she actually won the Wallenhorst Environmental Protection Award in 2017 and 2018, and ended up creating a joining group, where there are now more than 850 people who collect garbage themselves or are interested in environmental issues to bring about change. She is a teacher, an eco-warrior, a speaker, as well as a mother, and her motto is, everybody can do something. I'd like to welcome Birgit Schad onto our podcast today.
Hi, Flavio. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Birgit. Thank you so much for coming on. It's great to have you today. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. What's your background? What led you to where you are today? And what made you want to start this journey of cleaning up Germany?
All right. Yeah, exactly. Well, it was actually my dog. I was never anybody to hike around or walk around much. I always liked to travel. I used to work as a travel agent and traveled a lot. Also to other continents, of course. If you're a travel agent, you have lots of special deals that you can take advantage of. So I did that. My family and I, we still like to travel. And the thing is that I saw the world like 25, 30 years ago, how it was then. And now I see these exact places, how they are now. And I just really like to do something about it. But it did actually start with my dog. While taking these walks, I always had a doggy bag with me, like a poop bag, not a doggy bag. And and then the cigarette pack just bothered me. I picked it up and I wondered if I hadn't picked it up now, what would have happened to it? And I answered that question by probably no one. It would have stayed there for a long, long time. And then I decided, well, I have plastic bags back then. Don't tell anybody. Yes. I used plastic bags actually to get rid of them. That was the reason. And so I took a plastic bag and I just put the trash in there that I found on my walks. And very soon I realized, wow, this is really a lot in my direct neighborhood, right in front of my doorstep. And I was actually shocked. So what I did was I put this trash in this bag and then I took a picture of it and I posted it, or I opened a secret Facebook group where I was the only member. And I posted in this group. Actually, there was no reason behind it, but just for me to see how much trash do I carry out of the woods, from my walks, how much do I bring back? And unknowingly, later on, that led me to this award about the environmental prize. So I could tell people, I could show people how much trash I actually picked up. I'm not saying I invented litter picking, or yes. I'm not saying I'm the only one, or I'm the first one, or I'm the best one, but I can really, I do think that I am one of the first persons in Germany to go public with it. back then, I did open my group then. This secret group became an official public group because the members of the community wanted to know if it's true what I was saying, right? That I was collecting so much trash. So I made it a public group, and more people joined. But I have to say, it was very, very hard at the beginning. And my husband even said, please stop that. He actually said, stop that, because what happens if a client of yours, a customer, I'm self-employed, so a lot of people know me, I live in a small place, and he said, what if a customer or somebody else sees you crawling around in the dirt, picking up other people's garbage, and think about your daughter. I mean, back then she was like 12, I think, 12 years old. And he said, think about it, if she goes to school and her classmates would bully her, going like, your mom's a trash picker, she picks up dirty trash from other people. So what I did was, all right, then I thought about it for 30 seconds.
Yes.
And I came to the conclusion that what I was doing is right. So I said, okay, if my daughter is really going to get bullied, then I'll have to stand by her side and support her, but nothing of that happened. Actually, the contrary happened. There was this day where a client of mine actually saw me crawling around in the dirt, picking up trash.
Wow.
And what happened then was he sent me a WhatsApp a day later, and he said, Mrs. Schad, I saw you yesterday while you were taking a walk with your dog. And I thought, all right then, so here it comes. And then there was another WhatsApp saying, I have to say, I admire you. You're such a role model, and it's great what you're doing, and I'm very proud of you. So exactly the contrary had happened to what my husband had feared. There was actually people saying it's a good thing, and he was not the only one. So from this point on, I was just even more convinced that I'm doing the right thing. I knew that before, but still. I mean, if people appreciate what you're doing, then of course you want to do more and spread the message. And that's actually what I'm trying to do.
Wow. So from very humble beginnings of getting a dog and deciding to pick up whatever you found on the side, people started really admiring what you do. No, I think that's a really, really beautiful story of how you got to where you are. And what is it that your group does now then?
Okay, in my group, which is called Saubermacher, meaning cleaners, really, there are now we're almost hitting the 1,000 people, which doesn't mean that there are 1,000 people actively litter picking or
Yes.
going out collecting trash. But at least these 1,000 people, I didn't force them to come into this group. So they must have somehow stumbled across this group, and they must have thought, oh, it's interesting. So they're in there. A lot of them, of course, are litter pickers. But then there are a lot of people who rarely do anything, or at least they don't communicate, or they don't send posts, they don't comment, they don't do anything. But that's fine, because I think I don't know what they are doing. They might be picking up trash as well, but they just don't want to do it in public. That's fine. At the beginning, I have to say, I really only bent down for litter when there was no car passing by, because I did feel a bit weird at the beginning, I have to admit, like anybody else probably. I mean, now it's like almost a hip thing to do, to pick up trash.
Yes, it is, yeah.
But then, back then, I felt I was the only one. And then when I got this award, this environmental award for my community, the newspaper came up to me and they wanted an interview. And they said, we're going to take a picture of you too. And I was like, oh my God, my face is going to be in the newspaper. And then they're going to say, she's a litter picker. Oh my God. I mean, this is 2016. This is really, 4 years ago, it was a different story. But then, yeah, from that interview, from that report in the newspaper, a lot of other things came up. So in my group, I do what other people do who have groups like that, same thing. So I arrange litter picks. I just encourage people to do what I'm doing. I have received a lot of personal messages saying, since I've known you, or since I know that you're picking up litter, I don't feel weird anymore. I can do it in public now, and I don't feel shamed. So a lot of encouraging messages that I get too, so which keeps me going, of course.
Yeah, that's really great. Become some inspiration and role model for a lot of people. I think that's really important to have people like this, which is why I'm really grateful to have you here today as well to share your story. Um, Now that you've shared your story, what would you say after everything you've been through and where you've arrived? What would you say would be your top three pieces of advice for someone who wants to make a difference as well, who wants to live towards a more sustainable world?
Well, it's actually the big fours, the big four R's, meaning reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. So I have always been a person who I have never really thrown things away just like that. So whenever I had something that I didn't need anymore, I would sell it secondhand, clothing, for example, or other stuff, or I'd give it away. I was never a person who just threw things in the bin. I always try to make something else of it. And I mean, yeah, not only women, always, also men, of course. Look at the fashion industry, right? Look at how you
Yes.
want to. Do we really need like 20 pairs of jeans? Do we really need, like women, 5 pairs of high heels or 10 pairs, or do we need them at all? So I think that's a very, very, very important thing, to reduce what we have and be happy with what you have. And I don't even enjoy shopping anymore. I was never a big shopper, I have to say, but I just don't need the stuff. And then reuse it. Yeah, I mean, if there is something that is not good anymore, then try to upcycle it. Try to make something new of it. Recycle, not no, in this case, upcycle it,
Upcycling, yes.
and try and make something that you might want. For example, I pick up a lot of Capri Sun. I think that's the top 3 item that we all pick up probably, or any of these drinking packets. And I made a clutch of it. So I actually stitched on my sewing machine. I stitched together all these little Capri Sun satchels, cleaned them, stitched them together, and I made a clutch. And wherever I go, it's like, whoa, where'd you get that? And I said, from the street, and it was for free. So that's what I can say. Refuse, of course. Do not get what you don't need. Try to avoid things. I mean, yeah, I could go on and on and on, but this is actually the 4 things that I would say. And one other thing that for personally, it's a personal advice, speak up. And that's what I'm trying to do. Just raise your voice and do something, and go to this shopkeeper or go to the salesperson and say, you know, can't we have an alternative for this and that packaging? Or use the app. In Germany, we have this great app called Replace Plastic. And you can actually scan an item. And if there is lots of scans of this one item, then a message will be sent to the to the producer of the product, asking them to consider an alternative packaging. So
Oh, wow. I've not heard of that one before. That is definitely seems like a powerful tool.
And you know, the thing is that I like to eat nuts. As I said, I'm a vegetarian, and I like to eat nuts. So lots of times I don't get nuts from a like a container or something. I can only get them in a plastic package. So I try to reuse this plastic package as a plastic bag as well. But I scanned that a couple of times, and then all of a sudden I went back to the supermarket. I got my nuts, and I was like, "Wow!" They had actually, yeah, believe it or not. I mean, I don't know if it was because of the app, but they had actually changed their packets to not shiny plastic anymore. It was bright, shiny, thick plastic. It was a different kind of plastic. It was still plastic, yes, but the whole bag was smaller, so there was not much packaging.
Yeah.
And something had been done. As I said, might be a coincidence, but it might have been come from this app as well. So everybody can do something, as you said, which is my motto.
That's really great. That's really, really great. So obviously the pieces of advice, the big 4 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. I think definitely refuse is a big, big one we need nowadays. With the economy reopening up and people being pressured to buy and go back to stores and so on, it's definitely something we need to be a bit careful of, because as you mentioned, do we really need all these shoes and trousers? And not only women, I know a lot of men as well who buy a lot of unnecessary things, whether it's clothes or other things. So it's a big thing to remember. And speaking up, I think is really powerful. We've seen it here as well in the UK with a lot of supermarkets that have started trialing plastic-free vegetables, because to be honest, who really needs plastic on the vegetable? I mean, it's got a skin, but they're trialing that because a lot of people have complained, and that app sounds really cool. I think I'll go check it out, even if we don't have it here.
Yeah. I have to say, in Germany, I think we're quite lucky. I mean, of course, we get vegetables and fruit packed and wrapped in plastic, but it is not that bad, at least not that bad in the place where I live. We have big supermarket chains, and they are all now slowly changing to the chance to get your tomatoes. You can buy one tomato, one apple, one banana if you want, and that has actually always been like that. There is always next to the, for example, apples in a plastic bag, there is the alternative of single apples. So I mean, maybe I'm just lucky, but I think Germany is quite good with it. It's not in all supermarkets, but when I see my followers on Instagram or anywhere else, or when I travel, of course, I see much worse than we have in Germany. So we're
No, I think Germany is definitely one of those countries that is ahead of many others when in this fight against plastic. And I mentioned this reopening of the economy at the end of what I hope is the end of the COVID crisis. What do you think, after what we've just been through, would be the main lesson we should take, all of us, home from this lockdown?
The thing is, I always, as I said, I'm a travel agent, or I used to work as a travel agent, and I have loved, or I still love traveling and seeing the world. And for this year, I have to admit, I had planned 2 big trips, meaning not within Europe. And
yes.
Of course, both of these trips have been canceled. And to be honest, I'm not even that sad as I thought I would be, because do we really need to go places for 9 days? Do we really have to cross the Atlantic Ocean just to sit on a beach for 9 days where we have a beach in Europe, right? And I mean, a lot of times people are at the beginning, a lot of people, like my haters, of course, everybody, all of us have haters. My haters were like, yeah, but she goes to Dubai and she flies in an airplane. And I said, well, yeah, I never said I was a saint. I'm not saying I'm the perfect eco-warrior, but we all learn. And in this case, I think maybe we should just more appreciate what we have in our own country, maybe, or in our neighboring country. And for example, on Friday, I'm going to the Netherlands, to a lovely little island. I have been there a couple of times. It's a lovely island where you can take a holiday with your dog. So it doesn't always need to be the Caribbean just for posting great Insta pictures. I've been there. And I think that's one thing, because I see that Germans all of a sudden appreciate the North Coast, the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. They're going to places, they're going to the south of Germany to go to the lakes, and they're fine with it. So, I mean, in Germany, we have mountains, we have all kinds of great places to go and spend the holiday. And in general, I think we should much more appreciate our today, and try to conserve it in a way, or make it better even. And and enjoy the simple things in life, and appreciate that you're healthy if you're healthy, and focus on today too. So not just it's always I have friends who are like, yeah, I have to work and work and work and work, so my rent is, when I'm a pensioner, I have a lot of money. And I'm like, why would you do that? Do we all really know if we all reach the age of 70, 80? Who knows? And of course you have to save some money and try to have a good life later on. But I think live today, enjoy today, make the most of it, and and even try to maybe consider your daily life. For example, try to eat less meat, try to become a vegetarian, maybe even try to become vegan. So many things that we have time now to reflect, and hopefully a few of us will do or have done so.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. It's given a bit of time for a lot of us to actually look at what we have, and that's definitely something our society has forgotten, is for us to live in the present, and look what we have now and what we have around us. And I hope this COVID crisis has had some positive learning for a lot of people, and we will realize these things and move towards more happiness for everyone, I think, is what we will get if we become more present and more conscious of what we have around us. It will make people more happy.
Yes, definitely. I think so too.
Great. You mentioned we don't know if we're going to reach 80 or 70, which is a very good point. Very true. Now let's assume you have, and this is we're way past today, many years in the future, and you're looking back on your life and how it's been. What would be the impact you would like to see that you left on the world?
I think I am already leaving a small, tiny little impact because I'm a mother, and I see from my child that she is copying me in a way, or let's say she quit eating meat when she was 11 years old, which means that's almost 5 years ago. She doesn't eat fish anymore because I told her how fish is nowadays, how fish is being caught. So
yes.
I think if she, or if I ever get any grandchildren, then I can definitely tell them I did what I could do. I tried to do something. I tried to spread the message. I did all of that with my own will and strength. I do not have any financial support. I do not have any special knowledge. I don't have any support from anyone really, but the people who are in my group who encourage me by sending me personal messages or me seeing other people doing the same thing. So what I have achieved, I have achieved a lot of things really, actually. I've been on TV a couple of times, on the radio, in newspapers and magazines. So all of that is just because I talk. I do things and I talk about it. And that's, I think that is really, that's great. I mean, that's all you have to do. There is nothing else you need. You need your voice, you need your power, your strength, your will, and you can reach so much. It's unbelievable. I think actually, my daughter never really talks about the project City Cleaners Germany, but I know that she secretly admires me. She once wrote me a letter, and she said so. So I was really happy to read that, because actually I'm doing that for her too, for her and for her generation, of course. And I think that I can say I did what I could to make the world a little tiny bit of a better place. And that makes me proud already. Even now, today, it makes me proud, because I know I have been doing things, and I will go on doing things, and I will have an impact.
That's brilliant. That's really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think that is really powerful things you've just shared and distinguished. And it's really great place to be when you're already proud of what you've achieved, and you still get to keep going and keep living this passionate that you are. Yeah, before we wrap up and before I let you go, is there anything you would like to share? Would you like to tell our followers where they can reach you, where they can find you, how best to stay in touch with what you're doing?
Yeah, of course. If there is anybody from Germany, or even, of course, not from Germany, but I'm in the northern part of Germany. I live near Osnabrück in Lower Saxony, and my Facebook group is called Saubermacher, and the Facebook page that I have is City Cleaners Germany. The whole thing, City Cleaners Germany, is actually me. So I'm carrying a big name, but that's a nice story too, because back then in 2016, when I thought, okay, the whole thing needs a name, I was searching for similar groups, for similar people doing the same thing as I was trying to do, and there was none. So there was one group, and they were called Beach Cleaners, and they are from Germany too. So I thought, okay, they're beach cleaners, well then I'm a city cleaner. So that was like City Cleaners Germany. And a lot of times people say, yeah, but your organization, do they have like other branches or whatever in other countries? And I'm like, no, it's just me. So City Cleaners Germany is me, and we have a homepage, and it's also like www.citycleanersgermany.de. You can send me an email and reach me on Instagram by CleanupGermany.
That's really great. Thank you so much. So that's on Cleanup Germany for Instagram, and City Cleaners Germany for Facebook and website. Thank you so much for coming and speaking to us today, Birgit. It was great having you. I hope until next time, and to everyone else listening, I will see you on the next episode. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Flavio. It was nice chatting to you.